my take on Nick Saban. And I just looked it up. He is set to be paid $11.125 million this season with his new negotiated contract. I know that because USA Today is obsessed with coaches' salaries. The reporter yesterday that asked Saban about his, Eric Brady's from USA Today, if you Google anything on coaches' salaries, a USA Today article is going to come up. Going back as far as, 10, 12, 15 years ago when we first started having $1 million coaches. Remember, there was a time when if you made $1 million as a head football coach, that was unbelievable money. Remember Mike Shula, his last year at Alabama? Josh, he didn't make $1 million. He made $900,000. And actually the basketball coach, Mark Gottfried, at the time, made more than Mike Shula. Let that sink in for a moment. That was just, 10, 11 years ago. The basketball coach at Alabama made more money than the football coach. Now, Avery Johnson makes a lot of money too. A lot of money. Well over $2 million a year. But he isn't close to Nick Saban, and I don't think we'll ever see a time again where the head basketball coach at Alabama makes more than the football coach. Certainly not as long as Nick Saban is here. So these escalating salaries are a really new trend, to be honest with you. As I said, I've been at this long enough that I remember when head football coaches in the SEC, made $125,000, $150,000 a year. Assistants, full-time assistants, might be making $30,000. Now you've got position coaches at Alabama making $1 million. All the top coordinators make over $1 million. So the value of coaches' contracts have skyrocketed. Basketball coach Mike Krzyzewski making nearly $10 million this year, $9.7 million. So it isn't just football coaches. But you have to look at the value, the return value on your investment. And when Nick Saban was hired here at Alabama, I think at the time, I want to say around $4 million, everybody went, oh my gosh. Now you look at $4 million, it was the best investment Alabama's ever made. The football program's the best in the country. The enrollment is close to 40,000 students, more out-of-state students than in-state students in terms of enrollment. That has so much to do with Nick Saban's presence here at Alabama and the profile that the football program has nationally and internationally. It attracts students. Donors are more apt to give money not just to athletics but to academics when the football program is doing well. That's the way it works. Nick Saban, for $11.125 million, I can't believe I'm saying this myself because that's so much money. Most of us can only dream of making that kind of money. In fact, I bought Powerball tickets when I was in Atlanta. They had the drawing last night. I've got to check to see if I won. That'd be the only way I'll ever come close to making that kind of money. But for what he has brought to this university, he's well worth it. Well worth it. This university is flourishing. It is growing at a rate. I'm on campus every day, so you don't notice it as much when you're on campus every day, but I challenge you to do this. Find the AL.com story where they took pictures of all the major landmarks at the University in 2007 and then photo those same landmarks again in 2017. You won't believe all of the changes, how much more beautiful this campus is. When he came here, had a plan. He deserves a lot of credit. Coach Mal Moore, the late Mal Moore, deserves a ton of credit for hiring Nick Saban. Look at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Look at the growth and the renovations it's had. When Mike Shula was the head football coach here from 2003 to 2006, Bryant-Denny Stadium didn't look anywhere close to the way it looks now. This campus didn't look the same. Football was struggling. One really good year in 2005 at 10-2, but even that year they didn't make it to Atlanta for the SEC championship game. You went through a stretch from 1999 until 2008. That's 9 years that Alabama didn't go to Atlanta. Now you just take it for granted that they're going to be there almost every year. But Mike Dubose won an SEC championship in 1999. The Tide didn't win another one until 2009. Didn't play for another one until 2008. Dennis Franchione had a really good football team in 2002, but they were ineligible for the postseason because of probation. Mike Shula's team in 2005 couldn't get to Atlanta, but Nick Saban came in here, and just on the football merits alone, I think he's worth that money. Just on what he's done in terms of winning football games. But you can't put a price on all of the other things that he's done for the University of Alabama. So if you just look at $11.125 million as a number, you say, oh, my gosh. And it's easy for me to say. You heard Nick Saban say it. Probably not when he was asked if he was worth it. Just based on the number alone, probably not. Just for coaching football, you probably shouldn't make $11.125 million. I would agree with that. That's probably too much money to coach a game. But when you add in all of the other things that he has meant to this university, it's an investment. That's what it is. And now you see universities all around the country making investments in their football coaches, in their basketball coaches. Because of the profile. Because of what it means to the university to have success in athletics.